kiter against wheel because of the catapults that you can jump on when they get a wheel form. And Seer farms owls so easily against wheel; they can just kind of stack them very easily because you can farm owls while they're in wheel form. So this team comp kind of hard counters breaking wheel. So I think maybe this hunter was potentially trying to play wheel here, and then they see this team comp because again, patient band wouldn't really make a lot of sense. Patient and little girl bands make more sense for breaking wheel, less so for soul weaver. But then they see this team comp and it's just like you gotta play soul weaver. You cannot play breaking wheel into seer and toy merchant and then also double rescue. It just wouldn't work.
You are totally right. These survivors are really pesky against breaking wheel, and also Kwon being a soul weaver main, he's definitely sure what he's going in, and he decided to do those bans on point, focusing on the patient and all. And now we'll see the game already starting. Kwon just going in for the second story building, or not, just going right for the middle, trying to look for the most ideal target.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like he is going to find. He does get heartbeat on Ford. Ford's going to go ahead and distract him from seeing that toy merchant. So that's going to be pretty ideal for the survivors here. And he's going to go ahead and chase after Ford. You got to be careful that you don't kite towards one of these other survivors. It looks like I'm not sure who that is decoding behind the two-star. I believe that might be the mercenary. So it's actually okay. Mercenary gets found. Ford's gonna use a little bit of football here. Can he get to this paladin time? Using all those webs, goes for the swing, gets the hit, and that is why Soul Weaver is so strong on this map. There's so many narrow areas that allow for the Soul Weaver to catch up here. If you're playing a breaking wheel in that situation, you're going to get kited for a long period of time. But Soul Weaver can be very strong at chasing forward as well, because you can easily catch up with those webs. Even if Forward uses football, it doesn't matter. He can just drop 3 webs, catch up immediately, and close the
Yes.
distance right away, so you cannot transition far away. And Blink is now online, so Soul Weaver should have a very easy downing the Forward from here.
Let's go now. We're gonna have the forward eating a web, but now the Seer Owl will come in to block the hit for Kuong, and now forward will be forced to
Oh,
take the blink. Forward utilization of the ball to avoid a blink was amazing, and now he's going to eat another web hit. But now, actually, no, he's just going to transition away, Eli.
yeah, absolutely. That football dodging the blink, that's a huge moment. That's actually really crucial for the Forward. And a catapult set up in the area, but the Forward, he didn't actually take it. So I'm not really sure. I guess he didn't want to go
See it, yeah.
back into the Soul Weaver, but he didn't actually push for the other catapult either. So interesting, yeah, interesting kind of setup there. If the catapult was set up the other way, obviously Ford could have taken it. He is going to get basement, but 2 Cypher Machines pop. But that blink miss was so crucial. That bought the Forward so much extra time there. That was a huge moment in that game. And now Soul Weaver, of course, does have basement to work with. The survivors have a winning position. If they're able to potentially get this rescue, they have a really good position to work with. But they may not even go for it again. They only need a tie. If the survivors are able to get 2 out here, they would win the round. Of course, Sneaky was able to eliminate 3 survivors, and that would give them a 5-3 lead.
If I saw correctly, she brought the tension and trump card, so we'll be seeing whether she will keep the blink or maybe change to either abnormal or teleport. And now taking that pallet stun from the toy merchant, she still has 2 catapults on hand, and now mercenary sneakily going for the basement rescue. And if he definitely, oh, he got that snipe on the mercenary, such a long distance snipe, Eli coming in, and now there will be a normal hit rescue. Actually, no, just waiting for the ultimate moment and going in out of the basement is gonna be very crucial for Kwon. He needs to try to stop this rescue. These 2 survivors trying to get a double down, but no, just focusing on the forward, because if he does escape again, that could be really detrimental for his first game.
Yeah, and Ford is going to be placed on the rocket chair again. But yeah, look at this Cypher progress. It's just so far along here for the survivors. Again, they're just in such a good position. Soul Weaver, Soul Weaver is just such a good character for this map, of course, but it's still a tie hunter at the end of the day here. 1 Cypher Machine already remaining. Mercenary has a lot of progress, goes for a long web shot, just trying to force that survivor off of the Cypher Machine. But simply all the survivors have to do here is they have to, one survivor needs to pressure this Cypher Machine, and another one needs to start a new Cypher, and they will be in winning position. That's something to keep in mind here. Soul Weaver does have double web shot available. You see them one quarter away from having full presence. So if they actually get a web shot on someone reaching that full presence, they'll get the web shot back immediately with no cooldown, and they can go for a double web shot play. So maybe that'll come into play here, but it's still easily just a drawn position for the survivors. Even if Soul Weaver tries to go for the Merchant and the Seer Cypher, Mercenary can simply just do this other Cypher Machine that already has 70% progress.
Yeah, talking about that, they're already preparing for late game because the mercenary has kept all his three elbow pads, and I think he already knows that Soul Weaver is after him. He's gonna try to save those elbow pads for the ultimate time. There's also dungeon nearby, just in case we have to utilize later. We'll get to the full presence, taking the normal hit, and the last machine is already prime. So we need to be a very difficult situation here for Kwon. He needs to get this mercenary down with the web just to get a normal hit with detention. So we'll see what they. Oh no, they just decided to go right for the cipher.
Yeah, and it
They
looks
just
like
pop it.
yeah, they're just gonna pop the Cypher Machine, pushing for the end game here. Again, this is still just a drawn position. The only chance Sliver has it actually winning here is if they're able to potentially down this Survivor quick enough, and then teleport to another exit gate, get another kill. They have a chance here. Trying to mind game the Merchant here, and they should go down. Yeah, the window does break here after 4 vaults, so that's kind of a bit of a downside for the Merchant, but she's going to be placed on the Rocketeer here. And the exit gate, I don't believe, is it open yet? He's going to go ahead and go for the teleport. It looks like it's not open just yet, and he does have the Mercenary in his sights. The Mercenary has elbow pads to work with. He's going to use one of them there. Waste a web shot. That's actually not ideal for the Soul Weaver. Actually, a misstep because now they waste 10 webs in the process, and they won't have webs to work with when chasing this Mercenary. Mercenary can simply just use another elbow pad. They're able to get that rescue off in time. And he actually, I think he lost sight of the Mercenary for a second there.
Yeah, because he went up to second floor and now he's just waiting just to drop again. And there's a pallet here. He can another vault, getting that snipe on the mercenary, but it is a software with detention, and he will be taking a normal hit. And now buying so much time for the toy merchant to open the gate. The gate is open, and now the seer is also coming in to open the. Yeah, definitely going to be a tie for Kuong. So wow, Eli, amazing gameplay from the Soul. We have to give it to the Soul Weaver because it was definitely not an easy gameplay coming in with a toy merchant and a seer and a forward. I think, to be honest, the owl there for the forward was crucial for this match to develop smoothly.
Yeah, that was very important, but the big play was the footballing the blink. That was so crucial. You got to
Mm.
highlight how big that was for the forward. Just the fact that they're able to make enough distance and keep kiting here. I think they extended their kite at least 30 seconds. That was easily enough time for the survivors to go for a draw from there. If he's able to get that blink down, it gives the Soul Weaver a chance to potentially play for a winning position. But as soon as that blink misses and forward's able to football away and make distance, and the Soul Weaver has some of the webs still trying to recharge, that is very crucial for the Soul Weaver. That's a big game changer there. And again, it worked out really perfectly for the survivors. If forward makes it to that catapult, then the survivors win. The first kite would have been so long to a point where even if they're able to get them into basement, Mercenary still makes that rescue. They would have had enough cipher progress to a point where they could have just won the game. But just a little bit short there. And again, the survivors, you don't have to play aggressively there. You know, your hunter got a 3-person elimination. If you're able to get 2 out, you win the round. And they got the job done. They got 2 out, and they were able to win the round for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Just like you said, just very conservatively. And I think about the catapult, I saw actually 2 catapults. So I think the toy merchant definitely knew that there was gonna be a chance, a huge chance for taking the catapult. But as I play toy merchant myself, a lot of teammates, when I ask them why they didn't take the catapult, they always tell me that they're afraid of the animation of getting in the catapult and flying away might actually make them die instantly. So I think some of the survivors that are not used to getting on catapults all the time, they probably will mess up with the timing sometimes. And just prefer to, like you said, go a bit more conservatively. No need to be so risky, and just go for the normal kite. Although I definitely would have preferred to see like a catapult utilization, because I didn't really see the toy merchant use the glide effect on with her catapult. Yeah.
Yeah, it never really came up in that round, but yeah, I mean, even if the Toy Merchant's able to do that, Toy Merchant does struggle against Soul Weaver again because again, you know,
Mm.
you go for your glider, you try to make distance, Soul Weaver catches up very quickly with the webs. But in certain situations, it can actually be beneficial. For example, if the Toy Merchant's in the hotel, which is the very strong 2-story kiting area, you're able to get on your catapult and glide away. You start from a really high distance because you're already, you know, in the upstairs 2-story. Then you can
Mhm.
create a lot of distance and you can kind of go in open areas, making it hard for Soul Weaver to use webs. But you know, Soul Weaver is so good on this map because pretty much everywhere there's always going to be somewhere where there's a place to put a web. Because there's even if it's something like just like a random like street lamp pole in the middle of nowhere, you can put a web on that and you can catch up to
Yes.
survivors. So that's why Chinatown is just so good for Soul Weaver. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we are going to see you know, LUV going down 1 round here. especially with their map pick. They got to choose Chinatown here. They had the map pick of their choice, and they were not able to get a win on it. So now I think things just get increasingly harder for them as these rounds progress.
Yes, definitely super hard. I think now that the other hunter got the upper hand, I think he's gonna he's gonna be a little bit more relaxed. Although this was a tie, though it was not a win, so all the stakes are still there, and I think that the survivors are still going to try to strive for the most points, especially because their hunter just got a tie, and I think they definitely will try to get the three-man escape at minimum because this is what they need just to not drag the hunter away and just make more pressure to him. So I think it would be better if they can also play a little bit more, like I guess aggressively, if you say, because sometimes you need to get those time and then for the cipher machine to be prime and then get as most survivors out of the gate as possible.
Well, the thing is, Sneaky already has a three-person elimination, so it already was a win for RUY here because Sneaky was able to eliminate three survivors. So them getting a tie is a win for them in this round. So that's what I was
Yeah.
trying to infer, is that they already have a round one lead here because of that tie. So they do go
Mm.
up one round to nothing, and then now you're going into round number two where as LUV, if you want to come back, you have to play on the map that the opponent team picks, and you're down one round to zero. So it's challenging. It's challenging to come back in this situation. So something I'm very excited to see here is I think we're probably going to see Sneaky Sculptor come out in the second round here. So that's definitely something to look forward here. I don't think the survivors will ever give Dreamwitch again. Dreamwitch, of course, is the best character in the game. You never want to give Dreamwitch after round one. Any Dreamwitch player will always have their Dreamwitch banned after the first round because of how powerful Dreamwitch is. It's just, this game is very, very, very survivor sided, especially with Flywheel included. But Dreamwitch it makes the game um, harder for survivors. Dreamwitch is kind of the one hunter in the game right now that even the best survivor teams just really can't beat because, again, the meta is very support sided. If you have good support, you can win. But Dreamwitch, it's hard to support against a Dreamwitch. So Dreamwitch is just so strong. And it looks like we do have our match stats here for this last round. It is, of course, a tie for the survivors.
Yeah, we have the maximum decoding by the seer for 300% together with Toy Merchant 200%. Wow, they did decode it quite a bit. And I think it was because the forward and definitely bought so much time for that ciphers to be done. And then I think the tie was so clutch, to be honest, because if the forward didn't use the ball right at that moment, that could have been definitely a lot of points for the Soul Weaver to just get the forward into the chair as fast as possible, but then he elongated his kite, and I think that was also a good prediction from the forward and a fast hand, if you might say, because like sometimes when you use the forward ball, you definitely need to round it up and switch to where you want to run, and I believe that this requires a lot of practice and a lot of hours playing the game to just master those kite moves with your fingers.
Yeah, forward is arguably the hardest survivor in the game to play. Not only do you require very good controls, as you mentioned, you also require very good game sense, a very good understanding of how to play the character. Anyone could easily just say, I play forward. They could play forward, and they could get the controls down. And it's like, okay, you have good controls with forward. You also gotta have the game sense. You gotta have the understanding of how to play forward properly. You can't just go into a match with good controls on forward and say, I'm going to play forward really well, because then, you get in a situation where, this forward harasses the whole game or harasses in a situation where they should be decoding. You have to have a very good understanding of the game to play forward. So,
Mhm.
and we saw again, as you mentioned, the forward in that last round. They did fine. They had it's just Soul Weaver is just so strong against chasing forward. So, yeah, but we are going to in between rounds here. So. Hopefully the stream is back online, so hopefully you guys are able to chat again, and we can look into that shortly.
Yeah, one thing that you did mention was that actually the forward is being found first early on game. It's actually quite I mean coincidental, don't you think so? Because it has been already the third forward first guy that we see, and they all end up being quite decent, of course, and definitely together with the survivors, supportive and cooperative, like rescues and the mercenary and everyone just coming in to going for the rescue, not allowing the hunter to take the survivor so early back to the manor. But just like you say, sometimes it's better to just not rescue, especially if you don't want to give the hunter a full presence. So, and you don't want to feed them that full presence that they need to get an all kill. So it really depends how much can you decode while he's on the chair. Maybe just a clutch for a rescue. And a lot of these rescuers that they come in, they're able to do very nice body block afterwards, and they do a very smooth rescue, which really helps a lot because they can come in for a second rescue, and that works perfectly well as well. So that is how important is the rescuer in a team, and the team being able to work around it, because if they cannot make the rescue, then everything will be like the kite will be almost like for nothing. So I think that is something to highlight. I have really enjoyed the rescue so far.
Yeah, definitely. Rescuing is a very important part of, not only do you have to have good support, you have good kiting. Rescuing is also very crucial. It's been a really big factor. Just the body blocks off chair, as you mentioned as well, very important. So I don't know. So looking into how this next round will progress here, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we do have the map selections. It looks like it is going to be Arms Factory was banned by LUV. So that definitely makes the most sense, considering that Soyber not very strong on Arms Factory, Breaking Wheel not very strong on Arms Factory. So they're really just trying to limit that as an option. Looks like RUI will select Ever Sleeping Town. So Sneaky wanting to try to play on Ever Sleeping Town here, which definitely makes sense. Sneaky does have Sculptor and Dreamwitch available. Both hunters very strong for this map. We also saw Sneaky play a little bit of Breaking Wheel in previous IVA, so maybe that's something that will come out, but I think probably a little bit less likely. More likely we're going to see Sculptor here, because of course Dreamwitch should be banned. And then on the side of the LUV Hunter, Soulweaver, and if they also play Breaking Law, as you mentioned, that I think we'll probably see one of those banned, and they'll probably try to play the other one. Soulweaver not too bad for Ever Sleeping Town, but not nearly as strong as Chinatown. So already just even more of an uphill battle the LUV has to come back from.
Yes, definitely. I want to see a Sneaky coming out. I mean, I think also play Bloody Queen as well. But I
Mm.
think since this game is actually not so much pressure like you said, I think Bloody Queen is also a very good character to bring out in Ever Sleeping Town, because the mirrors, the moment you bring them out, you can definitely target the ciphers, and then sometimes even get some terror shocks. Like there's been many times that we've seen even in tournaments, like survivors will get terror shock just from a mirror image when they are decoding, and then it will just appear behind you. And sometimes even to the most pro gamers it will happen, the terror shock from the Bloody Queen mirror. So that's something definitely to keep an eye for. We don't want that to happen, of course, but definitely is some scary handlers will just throw the mirror directly at the survivor, and just that's the game sense, like the way they know where the survivor will be located, and just go for that terror shock with the mirror image. So Bloody Queen gameplay, wow, it will be really good, because I haven't really seen Bloody Queen today, so that will be really interesting to see, Eli.
Yeah, we might see Bloody Queen here from Sneaky on Ever Sleeping Town. It's not a great map for Bloody Queen, but of course, Bloody Queen is a hunter she does have as an option. Um, and yeah, and usually when we get in a tournament setting, the terror shocks are less common. You have more communication between your teammates. Obviously, you can communicate when a player is mirroring. You can also see when they go for a mirror image, especially if the hunter is near the chair. It'll highlight the hunter as well. So,
That's
but
true.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if we'll see Bloody Queen here again, because Bloody Queen on this map, it's very difficult. A lot of these buildings are hard to mirror around. There's not a lot of walking space for the Bloody Queen. But maybe it's an option, as you mentioned, of course. Sneaky already has a lead here, so maybe just play conservatively, play for a tie with the Bloody Queen, or maybe she'll just play aggressively and play Sculptor. I think with Ever Sleeping Town being picked here, it makes more sense to go something like a Sculptor, because Sculptor is a lot stronger on Ever Sleeping than a Bloody Queen is, because it's very easy to place the statues in the narrow alleyways and get statue chips that way. But a Bloody Queen, of course, is also a very good tie hunter. It's just less common for this type of map.
I understand. And also, besides sculpture, I think that the survivor side definitely will try to bring a little bit more. If I have to say, maybe stunner and support for this game, because they definitely want to get a little bit more points, because their hunter just got a tie, I believe. So that's why I think it's going to be for the survivor team to play a little bit more less conservatively, and then try to get those points back. At the same time, I think that the first bans will definitely try to be again Eli, most likely, Or priestess, because you know, priestess in this map is a very popular first ban, and as well as forward, since we saw the forward can be quite scary as well. I think forward will be a really good ban pick for this match, especially because we know for sure what sneaky will choose, but I think most hunters will definitely don't like to face a forward. So I think so far we've seen really good forwards coming in, and maybe forward will be the first ban pick so far, and we will really see. Once again, I think I haven't really seen decoders today, right? Like you talked about prisoner before and everything. I think really want to see a little more decoders, but once again, they need to focus on what is the strategy they want to achieve, and having so many support characters are that more commonly used. I think we're not gonna see much decoders as well. So yeah, looking forward to see. Oh, and right as I was speaking, we see a forward and an Eli ban.
Yeah, so definitely Dream Witch ban as well here. You really never want to give a round two Dream Witch Patient and Priestess getting not locked in here. This is also fine. Patient is good on Ever Sleeping Town, and Patient also counters things like Bloody Queen and Sculptor, so or strong, at least strong against them. So it would make sense to see that Acrobat getting banned here as well. Should say Mercenary probably is the next character option here from the story. Yeah, it is gonna be Mercenary. And the last ban for Sneaky, I actually don't know. We're not really sure what Sneaky's planning to play here. Of course, Sculptor, Breaking the Bloody Queen, all on the table for her. So I don't know what she wants to opt for. And it looks like we are going to see Mechanic as the last character lock in here. So the survivors trying to play Geisha, I think it looks like for Sneaky, which is actually very surprising. It actually makes a little bit of sense with these bans. Forward and Sear band very strong for Geisha, and it also works well with this team comp because Mechanic is a character that can sometimes struggle against kiting Geisha because of the slow pallet throwing speed. If you're able to mind game while you can get swings through pallets on the Mechanic. Also, Patient is really weak hider against Geisha because if you're able to get a butterfly on the Patient, you wait for them to hook and then you dash after them. They can't skill check while they're in midair, so Geisha catches up very quickly and get a free hit on them that way. She can close the distance. Any hunter that can close the distance quickly is strong against Patient. So Geisha actually definitely makes a lot of sense here for Sneaky.
I'm very excited, Eli. Sneaky Geisha. I'm so excited, to be honest. And just like I was saying, I haven't seen Decoder, but I think they heard me as well. They're gonna see a Tracy kite coming in. Actually, I'm very excited because Tracy kiting in Ever Sleeping Town while also using the butterfly to skill check. And I think the main thing that survivors will try to avoid is to give this Geisha presence, because as you know, when the geisha gets a full presence, she's almost unstoppable, and these survivors, no matter how strong they are, they still can get run of resources quite quickly. So I think that if the main strategy for Sneaky here will try to find either Mechanic as it best, because I think Patient will be a little bit of a difficult first kite for the geisha with all those 3 hooks in this map. They can hook it on windows, they can hook it to the graveyard, and everything same as with the priestess portals, and not even talk about the mercenary elbow pads. So I think Mechanic, it could be the ideal survivor for geisha to go after.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, definitely would be. Obviously, you can find the decoder first. Decoder never is usually considered to be a strong kiter, especially Mechanic with slow pallet throwing speed, slow vaulting speed. And then, of course, Patient is still a very nice target for the Geisha because Patient, again, can struggle against kiting Geisha in certain instances. We are going to see the corner house gate spawn from Sneaky immediately going towards corner house, trying to save a survivor, rotates in that area. It looks like no, going towards Geisha instead, does find the location of the mercenary, which is not an ideal chase target. And already we have that long portal set up here going towards graveyard. Sneaky's going to go ahead and take it. And will she continue after mercenary here? It looks like the answer is no. She's going to go ahead and change targets here, checking the upstairs 2-story. No survivor in the area as well, so already an excellent rotation for LUV here. And it looks like Mechanic left graveyard too, so really just trying to look around, trying to find a target that she can commit to. Does find the bot, so that's not bad. And the Mechanic not paying attention to the bot, so Sneaky gets a free kill on bot, and this will reveal the Mechanic's location.
There is still 9 seconds for a trade. Hunter using the little tunnel but missing the butterfly. Oh no, she's gonna have to go the long way around, going to try to break that long distance portal. There is blink on the light. Eli is a very common trait for Geisha nowadays to bring blink, and now we see that mechanic already transitioning to the second floor. Oh, be careful because there's a basement here. However, though, Tracy is already kiting here in this tight area using these little pallets. Not yet butterfly skill check. However, the will take the first hit and force to transition away from this second story building, and very be careful because if she falls down here, it will have to be a basement rescue. So that is definitely quite scary for the survivors right now.
Yeah, interesting choice. That mechanic could have potentially used flywheel for that first butterfly, but opted not to. Ooh, tram gets in the way and gets hit by the tram. What an excellent timing for the survivors here. And now mechanic is able to make some distance. They're able to get away here. The stun actually ends up not being that long, and Geisha can catch up quickly because I mean it is a Geisha, but that actually
Yes.
is going to buy the mechanic a little bit of extra time here. Could potentially getting farther away here. Looks like Patient's actually going to come body block a hit, which actually ends up being fine. Because oh, mechanic gets hit by the tram now, and she's gonna go down to that hit there. Patient unable to get the body block off. Sneaky didn't even have to use blink at all here, and yeah, what a what a turn of events there.
Eli, this tram is out of control. He first hit the geisha and then he comes for Tracy. He is definitely none of the size. He's just going in. He's very, very like, why you guys haven't picked this map before? He's like all in, you know what I mean? So I think right now Geisha has to just camp this chair and keep in mind, Eli, that there's still blink on the line. She hasn't utilized it yet. So I think this is something interesting because I think one of the things with Geisha is the presence, right? And she's still almost about to get it. There is a mercenary here going for the double hit, but mercenary baiting the hit very nicely and getting that butterfly as well. However, though, now it will be another. Oh, it was just a nice flywheel coming in from mechanic and utilize the priestess portal to just run away, and another stun from the portal. And now it's going to be mechanic to do a little rebound kite here.
Yeah, mechanic trying to rebound, but is gonna go down there, and of course Sneaky had blink anyway. So even if mechanic was able to kite out that dash, she could have just used blink to get the down, but it actually ends up being a little bit nicer for the Geisha because now you don't have to waste your trait and you still have that as an option. On chair for the second time, but keep in mind the Cypher progress, it's not bad. Mechanic stall was in play here. And she's gonna switch to abnormal here and kick the Cypher down to about 40%,
Ooh.
which is gonna slow down the progress a little bit. But I don't know if that ends up actually being too strong because now you don't have teleport. In the later half of this game here, Priestess is going to come for the rescue. They're going to try to body block and goes down right away. Yeah, that rescue doesn't really make a lot of sense. I think the idea there was that Priestess was going to take the body block and Mechanic was going to be able to make it to the portal, potentially try to rebound, but there wasn't really a lot of rebound potential anyways because it's a Mechanic. I mean, it's not a great cutter. You typically don't go for rescues unless there's a good chance at a rebound or the survivors are trying to push for a win, which in this instance, Mechanic had no rebound potential, so interesting choice. They're going to go for that portal, is able to get it off in time. But yeah, Priest is kind of caught in a bit of a bad area, so Sneaky should have a pretty easy time downing this Priestess from here.
Yes, there's still one cipher remaining, 60%. So I think the abnormal was a little bit rushed, to be honest. Now it's gonna be another down for the geisha, and it's gonna be the first share for the priestess. The mercenary most likely is the one coming for the rescue, but he's the survivor that can get 2 hits. And he still has one elbow pad, and we have to keep in mind there is a dungeon there right in the middle, which happens also to be right next to the last cipher machine. So Geisha is coming in, trying to go for the chair, throwing a butterfly, being skill checked by the survivor. She cannot dash, and she still cannot abnormal because they're still cooled down, Eli. So Geisha is in a very difficult situation. Go for the abnormal or go for the survivor.
Yeah, so I think she's just gonna wait for abnormal. Yeah, she's gonna wait for abnormal so she can kick the cipher again, down to about looks like about 40% again. And now we're gonna try to find where they're healing. Does she see them healing on the cipher machine? I don't know. It's gonna be close here, and it looks like she does see them now, but it's too late because now Legacy has already gone to decode that middle cipher machine. This forces Sneaky to go back and pressure it. I think the best bet for Sneaky is try to chase down. She's gonna eliminate the bot. I think the best bet is try to chase down the patient, at least get one hit onto the patient there and try to apply some pressure. But the problem is Sneaky's not really applying pressure. She's kind of just allowing them to decode for free here. And she is going to go for that dash towards Graveyard. Priestess not paying attention, unfortunately. That's kind of a sneaky little play there for Sneaky going through that wall there. This could be a potential strong position if she's able to get this mercenary down quickly. But mercenary is going to use an elbow pad just to get away here, and the survivors do have these cypher machines split up here, so this position should be easily drawn.
Patient with one hook, sorry, three hooks in line still has a strong kiting possibility. Doing the skill check, going to take the first time kiting this geisha that is full presence. So very exciting things here. We're gonna see how it's going to skill check once again to stop the mad dash from the geisha. Still forcing the geisha to distract, and now she's just going to fly away from the patient. She doesn't want to commit to such a strong survivor in this map, so just going for the last machine, which is already prime Eli. So just like you said, abnormal was a little bit too rushed for the geisha.
Yeah, and it looks like they're not going to go ahead and pop the Cypher Machine just yet. Is going to get the hit on the Mercenary, but Priestess can pop the Cypher Machine. It looks like they are going to be able to do that. Mercenary also has a forward football as well, so he could potentially kite a little bit longer here in the end game. Sneaky needs to get at least one kill. Goes for that swing, doesn't get it off in time. Mercenary able to football. Actually, what happened, that's a very interesting play. The Mercenary's football was cut short, and he's going to go down because of it. The Mercenary's football was cut short because he took the injury from the delayed effect as he was in the middle of his football. That's why his football actually stopped. He didn't actually stop it on purpose. He stopped because he took the injury of the delayed effect at that time. So, and because of that, actually causes Mercenary to go down there. So, very nice timing works out in the Hunter's favor, but the survivors do have that long portal set up. Two survivors will get out the exit gate here, and just like that, that is going to be a tie here for Sneaky. So just kind of playing conservatively, holding the lead that she does have here, and yeah, the pressure's back on LUV to try to at least tie this round.
Yes, that was so difficult match for the Geisha and for the survivors as well, because you saw the Trump just coming in all with all the rage hitting survivors and Hunter. Like usually we see the Trump would just accidentally hit one side, but this time we saw he hit both of them, so that was so difficult. And I'm sure in the chat they're enjoying that a lot because it was actually quite funny to see that the Trump just go around and then just casually hit the other one, and I think that was quite funny. We don't see it often, you know what I mean? So I think that was quite cute to see from the Trump just wanting to become the MVP of this match.
Yeah, absolutely. It ended up being. I don't know if the tram actually ended up making too big of a difference, but it's always funny to see the tram come in and have a little bit of an impact. So that's definitely exciting to see. Yeah, ultimately the first hit on Sneaky with the tram, it's a geisha. You're able to catch up very easily with your dashes, so it doesn't really buy the survivor too much distance, but it does buy a little extra time, which is always nice. And then the stun onto the mechanic, it made it harder for the patient to body block because then you have to body block something, a survivor that's unable to move, which makes it even harder to body block. And it ended up actually working out for Sneaky. So, yeah, just like that, we do see the final results here. The survivors did play a tie sort of team comp. Any comp that has mechanic is kind of built just to draw. Mechanic is less so of a winning character and more of a draw character now because of her nerf, but the bot still is very good. It still allows, if the bot's able to be out and do at least half a cipher or a full cipher, it makes it so the survivor team only needs to decode 4 or 4.5 ciphers to win the game, because the bot's able to do one on their own. And of course, that was a big difference maker there. And the bot was able to do half a cipher, and that did allow them to get them primed even with abnormal, and they still were able to tie.
Yes, that's how powerful a mechanic can be. And just like you said, even though it's a survivor that gets a lot of ties, it can definitely help him hear the decoding because both mercenary and priestess were busy distracting the hunter. They cannot really decode, and even if they can decode, they'll be a little bit slowed down. And followed by patient, which is actually he did very well. Kudos to his kite as well. He also bought some extra time, so much that the geisha even had to give up on him and just go back to the other two ciphers that were about to be finished to be decoding. But when she went back, there was already no more time because the cipher machine was already primed. So that's one of the things that patient really counters geisha strongly. And also depending on the player, some players decide not to use the hook so early on, but the one we saw here, he definitely didn't use his hooks as much as we saw before. So I think that really is scary because geisha definitely depends on trying to drain the survivors from their items so then she can become stronger. But these survivors will have so much discipline, they only focus on using them when it is a matter of life or death situation. So I think that was really good to see. Nice gameplay from the survivor side, and of course nice geisha game as well.
Yeah, the survivors played conservatively. They conserved items. They played a conservative team comp, which in this situation, they're not so far behind in points where they have to worry about being too aggressive. So it's okay to play, play conservatively in the match, play conservatively with Mechanic. Mechanic is a conservatively, a character that's going for ties, right? You're not trying to be aggressive, trying to play conservatively when you play Mechanic. So that was kind of the idea there. And it worked out. They did the job. They got a tie with Mechanic. That's, I assume, what they were going for, because that's sort of what the team comp was meant to do. And they were just kind of trying to go for a tie. And then now they're kind of relying on their Hunter to either get a tie to force a fourth round or get a win here and put themselves, up around here in round number two. So, or at least, win one of these rounds back. So I think that's kind of the goal here. Is just you're putting a lot of pressure on your Hunter to try to win, but I think they have a lot. They have a lot of confidence in their Hunter's skill, and that's kind of the game plan here for LUV.
Yeah, just like you said, when geisha chose to change to abnormal, I think that was really clutch because she was so afraid of the cipher rush because she definitely went very aggressively right in there to stop the cipher rush once and from all. However, though, it was a little bit late in game because as you saw, there was another two cipher machines being done, one in the graveyard and the other one just finished by the bot. So there was no much room for the abnormal to be utilized. And in this case, we saw the more you use it, the less it worked. So I think that sometimes hunters definitely, survivors, sorry, can definitely get into the hunters and make them sometimes switch to the traits that sometimes it won't work as well as if they change to teleport in this case because just imagine if the geisha didn't change to abnormal and then just switch to teleport, then she can also potentially get one more survivor with
Yep.
the tension. So I think that was just the way that sometimes survivors do those mind games on the hunters because Eli, you have to keep in mind it is four survivors against one hunter, and sometimes this is the things that we see that even though they have a game plan in their head, sometimes they just forced to change that just to go for the other option that was available, and in this case it was abnormal.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's a few reasons for going abnormal. Again, if you, as you mentioned, if you hold teleport, it gives an option to get an extra kill later. But I think what Sneaky was worried about is that if Sneaky doesn't abnormal there and they somehow manage to prime all the ciphers in time, then Sneaky might actually lose. So I think she was trying to avoid losing maybe with that abnormal play. I think that was kind of the game plan. But yeah, if you hold teleport and then you still have if you have a tie position and you have teleport instead of abnormal, then it gives you win potential because you can kill a survivor quickly in the end game and then teleport to the next gate. Because I mean, you saw, if you kill the mercenary quickly there and Sneaky has teleport at the end, she can teleport to the gate and potentially get an extra kill, right? So that definitely could have been a difference maker, but it just the abnormal is just more of a safer play. Both teams played this round very safe, right?
Yes.
LUV tried to play for a tie, and then Sneaky played abnormal, or switched to abnormal, which is for a tie, right? You're not trying to win if you switch to abnormal in that situation because you can't teleport. So both teams just tried to play it safe, and they both did. They both got a tie. They got what they wanted. So now, yeah. But if anything, probably benefits RYU because they already have the lead. So a tie here just continues to keep them in that lead.
Yes, definitely. I think if the LUV wants to get most points, they definitely need to step out the game, bring all their big guys out, like a forward, mercenary, enchantress come out, and then all those stunners also as well. I mean, I always think that stunners are the one of the most annoying survivors for the hunters to go after, but and also decoders are, like you said, not the best survivors for winning. So I'm guessing, like for you, in your opinion, it would be better for them to bring survivors that are more like can take more hits, maybe forward, psychologist, and priestess together with mercenary combo, or what would you think it would be another ideal lineup for them to just stay strong against a hunter such as maybe breaking wheel or a possibly coming from yeah like a strong hunter, a meta hunter, as you may say so.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what bans we're gonna see. We should see Priestess again, considering that it was banned in the first round. I don't know what the next one will be. I think probably it depends on what hunter the LUV hunter is trying to play. If they're expecting they're gonna play Soul Weaver, then it would make more sense for something like Seer, and Priestess to get banned. If they're trying to play something like Breaking Wheel, it might make sense for something like Ford and Seer. But then also, Priestess was their first ban in the first round, so I expect them to just go Priestess again right away because Priestess on Chinatown is very good. Priestess on Ever Sleeping is very good. It's kind of a similar situation we saw. Priestess on this map is just it works the same way that it does on Chinatown, and that's not something that that's not something that LUV really wants to the LUV Hunter wants to have to deal with. So I think Priestess will get banned first, and then it really just depends on whether they want to ban Seer next, Ford next, Mercenary next, something like that. But I expect Priestess to be banned first for sure.
Talking about priestess, actually, I do have a priestess portal right here. The only thing I didn't brought it out earlier is because if you see clearly, it kind of blends in with my green screen. So, does it blend in with the green screen? Because in before when I did the tryout,
No,
it blended with the green screen. Can you
I
see
think
it clearly?
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it.
Yay! So it doesn't blend. Actually, I made this by myself. I used a cable and some dry fast clay, and then I painted it and glued some stuff in it, and ta-da! A priestess prop
That's good.
DIY.
Yeah, I would not know how
Yeah.
to do that. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
um,
it's just a circle cable, and then just fill it up with clay and wait it for dry. Once it's dry, paint it and glue stuff on it, and then ta-da! Priestess
that's
portal.
yeah. For those of you who don't know, Soy is like a expert at cosplay. So I am not. So never ask me about that. But
No,
Soy.
I think we expecting one day maybe Eli can do a little either seer cause because it's quite like like it's one of the survivors that are most popular, right? And then the next one that you could do, I think I don't know if anybody told you, but you look a little bit like Lucky Guy,
Yeah, I've been told that a lot
a
actually.
little bit, but you don't
Yeah.
have glasses, so you just have to wear like some glasses like the square ones that he wears. And then if you want some button eyes, if not, you can just be like, yeah, you could look a little bit like Lucky Guy, I guess.
Yeah, someone told me I should get a maid outfit and put glasses on, and then I can be made lucky guy. And I was like, I don't know about that, but
Yes, definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. I don't know. I've never actually done cosplay before, but maybe it'll come up at some point during this
Mhm.
tournament for me. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's a surprise
Ooh,
for you
we'll
guys.
see.
Ooh, maybe.
We see maybe an Eli cosplay, a first time cosplay on a string. Yeah, that'll be so cool, Eli. Really looking forward to see whether you could surprise us or not. And then yeah, well, actually, for this is the first time casting together such a long IVC. I mean, such a like official tournament, if I may say so, because we did cast the IVA. So that's really nice casting together with you, IVA. I learned so much. But this time, though, what we see is that actually the meta is a little bit different. And then there's also less survivors out. Like, Novelist is not allowed. Professor just came in, so he's definitely not allowed as well. And then what we have seen today, though, it is Clerk gameplay. And as you said before, because you just come from NAU, and your team just won NAU tournament, so you coach Fusion, and Fusion has a really strong both Geisha and Clerk. So what do you think are the main reasons why Clerk could be the next hunter to be meta, and do you think it is actually going to be meta or not?
Clerk probably won't be just because the problem with Clerk is like Clerk's really good if you kind of pull it out as a surprise and teams aren't really prepared for it and they aren't really prepared to play against a Clerk. That was I think that was kind of the game plan. Uh, Back when I was coaching Fusion for playing against before you in the finals, is that maybe we could surprise them with Clerk, and it's something that they wouldn't expect, right? So Clerk's a really good character when teams don't expect it because Clerk, if you practice a lot for Clerk and you master playing against Clerk, then she's actually very easy to beat. But a lot of the time, a lot of teams, what they'll do is they won't really focus on Clerk and they'll focus on meta hunters like Breaking Wheel and Dream Wish and Sculptor and Bloody Queen and things like that, right? And Geisha. And then you can sometimes surprise them with Clerk. It's kind of just like a surprise option that teams don't really expect, right? And that's kind of where Clerk can come out. But that's why we don't really see Clerk used a lot in Japan, because a lot of the teams in Japan, they practice, every day. They practice every hunter. They're prepared for everything, right? And Clerk, if you try to pull out a Clerk against them, they're going to be prepared for that sort of that matchup. Whereas with China as well, sometimes we see Clerk get used a little bit in China, but it still ends up not being as strong because a lot of the teams are prepared, to play against Clerk. And in NAU, a lot of the teams practice for the meta hunters, right? You practice playing against Sculptor, you practice playing against Wheel, you practice against Dreamwitch and stuff. But when you have a character like Clerk that's new, sometimes teams don't have enough time to practice against it, and you can use that to your advantage and surprise them with Clerk. So that could also be a possibility here in Southeast Asia. We'll have to see. We did see Clerk get used earlier today, back when Pacha and Nell were commentating. So I think that, yeah, it's definitely an option for one of these teams to potentially pull one out here. But for the most part, it's usually gonna be sticking to the kind of the standard meta characters we're used to. And also, Flywheel can be good against Clerk as well. Like any hunter that has just like a single swing ability, Flywheel can be really good against, and that's what Clerk has. So that can be kind of a challenge for some Clerks to deal with.
Definitely, and also actually, with Poch, I just mentioned with him when in the chat that Explorer, I think it can be one of the few survivors that could counter Clerk because of his ability of keeping all those pages with him and just popping the cipher in a snap of a second. So I think that towards endgame, of course, if the Explorer is not found and he doesn't have to kite and he has enough time to look for his pages, he could counter Clerk endgame because only Clerk only becomes OP when her last ability is unlocked and she's full presence, and then she can camp ciphers and gates, and I think that could be that is one of the things that makes her really strong right now because survivors not yet used to countering at that type of hunter that can mess up with your tempo, mess up with your popping of the cipher machine right at the moment you must pop it, because you know that if you pop it a little bit late, a little bit slow, you still can pop it and you can still survive. But what happens if you are completely unable to pop your cipher? And that's just
Yep.
detrimental for the whole thing, and then you have to go to another cipher machine. It just mess up the whole tempo, and this game tempo is so important for both survivor and hunter. And messing a tempo so important, such as popping the cipher, can really mess up the whole situation. So I think Explorer, in my opinion, could be a very interesting survivor to counter Clerk.
Yeah, Explorer would be good against Clerk, because yeah, as you mentioned, can instantly pop cipher machines. But the problem is a lot of the time teams aren't really, when you play Clerk, it's because teams aren't expecting it, right? Like that you can play. Also, if a Clerk player sees Explorer, they're not going to play Clerk. Like if you see Explorer, Explorer is such a strong counter to Clerk. It's just going to be like there's no point in playing Clerk anymore if they play Explorer, because then your cipher control ability gets shut down, right? You get to bypass it with the pages. So if we ever see an Explorer come out, I think that kind of just forces the hunter away from playing Clerk. So I
Mhm.
think that's kind of the that's how that would come up. Again, Clerk only really is a good surprise option when teams aren't expecting it. And so, for example, they play a team comp to counter some other hunter. You're like, oh, I'll counter you back by playing Clerk, right? Something like that. So, but if Explorer ever comes out, we'll just never really see Clerk because it's just Explorer counters Clerk really well, as you mentioned, right? So it would be really challenging for a Clerk player to actually play effectively against an Explorer.
Yes, and the most difficult thing about Explorer to do is to kite because he's quite naturally slow. I don't know if he's because he has this heavy backpack carrying it around, super heavy with all those treasures, all those pages, but he's really slow at kiting. But I've seen some few players that can definitely take the most out of the Explorer kites. But I feel it's very difficult to kite with Explorer. I don't know if it's because of the nature, kind of like mechanic, I guess. But I definitely feel less agile when I kite as an explorer than with other survivors. So I definitely think explorer is a very difficult survivor to master. So for you guys explorers out there, if you are an explorer main, I really have a lot of respect for you guys. And shout out to my one of my best friends that is explorer main. His name is PPC Tiayo. So yeah, definitely kudos for you for being main explorer. And yeah, how about you, Ila? Have you ever tried to play explorer as a in rank or something like that?
Yeah, I played Explorer before. I really only play Explorer when we expect it to be like a photographer or something. I remember the last season of the season before. Sometimes we'd play against this photographer player a lot, who was because a lot of time there's really not a lot of photographer players in top tiers because photographer is not a very strong hunter. But like sometimes we'll see there was this one player in NAU was like a top photographer player, and we
Oh,
would get them a lot in rank. And every time they went photo, they would ban Seer and Mechanic, which isn't very common. People don't really ban Mechanic that much, but they would always ban
oh,
Seer and
really?
Mechanic. So we're like, oh, okay, Seer and Mechanic is probably the photo player. So then you'll play Explorer, and Explorer's really good against photo because the photographer will reduce the cipher progress when photo world ends, but you can just pop the cipher before because you have a page. So I would play Explorer a lot whenever we would get that hunter,
Nice.
but yeah, I do have some experience with that. But we are gonna get into our picks and bans now. I also saw someone in the chat said Eli put on cat ears, which I don't know, maybe at some point. But it looks like we're gonna see Soul Weaver banned here, and Ford and Seer will be the ban from LUV Hunter side.
Yes, it would be a very cool thing. You could wear cat ears, and they say cat ears is because Entity has these headphones, new headphones with cat ears, and sometimes he'll just randomly put cat ears just to do something for fun. So yeah, I think next time, yeah, it could be cool. You wear cat ear because it just put cat ears and you already look like a cat. It's just magic. It's like the easiest cosplay ever. Just put cat ears and you look like a cat. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, just going for the first survivor picks. Oh, they immediately banned Soul Weaver. So yeah, some respect there for Kuon show Soul Weaver. They don't want to see Soul Weaver again. So yeah, that's definitely some respect ban right there. And then the two first survivors to be picked will be Mercenary and Priestess. Wow, one of the most universal survivors right here. We see them in all the servers: China, Japan, NAU, and of course Southeast Asia. But then the next one will be the ban for the Enchantress. So wow, another Enchantress ban, Eli. I think it's just the time that they don't want to see Enchantress at all. They just don't want to see her at all. They think that she can be very powerful, especially against Kuon's Hunter. Maybe gonna be a breaking wheel. So yeah, we'll see. Oh, another Annie, Eli. Very nice.
Yeah, Toy Merchant is in there just to counter the Breaking Wheel again, and we are going to see Breaking Wheel from this hunter here. But Toy Merchant, of course, is going to be a big factor here. And of course, Enchantress getting banned again here, and Enchantress, of course, the ban for Enchantress makes sense in this situation. Enchantress is really strong against Breaking Wheel because you can stun to cancel the full presence. That's kind of the big game changer. Is Breaking Wheel is very strong with full presence, but Enchantress can use a single stack to cancel the full presence just by itself, just one stun. That's how strong Enchantress can be against Wheel. And it's also very easy for Enchantress to farm stuns against the Breaking Wheel because while they're in Wheel form, the Enchantress can just farm the stuns during that time. It looks like we're going to see Breaking Wheel locked in here. But yeah, this team comp is pretty good for the survivors. Mercenary is unchaseable. Priestess, not really an ideal chase target on this map. Acrobot, of course, is very good. And then Toy Merchant countering Wheel. So I think ultimately here, this Breaking Wheel might have a difficult time dealing with this survivor team comp.
Yeah, especially because Annie and Acrobat, very very good support right there, and I really think this time the Annie definitely will. I hope she takes the first guy, to be honest, because I think she can be very powerful first guy when she get those wings and then confuse the hunter away. However, though, we have seen that the Acrobat is also one of the ideal targets. Oh, but they just changed suddenly against. Yeah, sorry, I thought I saw an acrobat right there, but no, never mind. There's a seer. Wow, yeah, a seer first guy. Let's go. Able to get that owl. I think can be very strong. And we see Breaking Wheel coming in with a snowman skin.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go ahead and go towards Corner House first. Is finding the location of the Mercenary. Not going to go ahead and commit to that. Instead, going towards Fake Gate here. We see kind of a little bit of over-rotation. The Stars rotating a little bit too much here. This might come back to hurt them a little bit. Does find the Merchant. You see here, so the Merchant is
Ooh.
not going to jump in the catapult yet. They're going to wait for the
Mm-hmm.
Breaking Wheel to get out of wheel form first, and then they might jump in the catapult. They might actually just jump on it to get to upstairs two-story as well. That could also be. Look at the location of the catapult as well. That catapult will actually shoot them upstairs to two-story. Do they get on the catapult in time? No, they're not able to. They actually take it in the process. So actually, a misstep from the Toy Merchant. You have to be very careful when going
Yes.
against the wheel. You have to make sure that you're staying close enough to the catapult for when they get out of wheel form. You can instantly jump on that catapult. He's gonna actually changes to the Mercenary and then maybe changing yet again, and will actually go for the Priestess here instead.
Hey, do I hear insolence right there coming in from the Breaking Wheel? I think that is very very scary if he has insolence because he would just need to wait until he gets more presence, and then we'll go first after the Priestess and taking that hit, going in through the portal, buying some distance, and Breaking Wheel we just go back into his car and wheel after the Priestess.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. The priestess. Oh, he uses the spikes a little too early there, but the priestess I think drops into him. But there. What's okay? Okay. Okay. So he had an elevator portal set up, so he couldn't chase the priestess in a two-story. So he's forced to change targets here onto the toy merchant here, trying to stay alive as long as possible. He's gonna go ahead and get a wheel form again, just really not going for spikes, just trying to go for these basic hits. Toy merchant able to dodge this. Can she take the portal in time? Goes for the flywheel and takes the hit. She needed the flywheel to hit and flywheel to swing and then take the portal. So a premature flywheel here from the toy merchant. But look at that sway, able to get on the glider and go straight to graveyard, which is kind of the main sort of enemy of the breaking wheel is that graveyard. Almost getting hit by that train there. Goes for the blink, and the toy merchant just ate the blink. She didn't transition away at all. Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there. I guess she had a catapult set
Oh,
up. That was kind of the game plan, but the acrobat put a slow bomb in the window. So if Tormerchant just runs away, forces the breaking wheel to vault in instead of blink because she has enough distance, then he gets slowed down by a lot, and then she can take the catapult later. So yeah, unfortunately the merchant just doing that out of the
ooh,
order there a little bit, and we're gonna see a pause here just to make sure we
just
do have the
don't
best
go
playing
the help.
conditions.
Yes. Oh, that was a little bit yeah, misunfortunate. Like yeah, a little bit unfortunate because the breaking wheel came in so confidently with that blink through the wall into the graveyard, and Thormagen just ate the blink. And I think that was definitely one of the things that will benefit breaking wheel later on because he will get full presence very soon. And then actually one of the survivors that been kiting quite a lot is Toy Merchant in this match, and this is going to be the first time she will go down. So I think that will be actually not too bad for survivors if you think about it, because everyone is decoding their ciphers, everyone is doing their job, and there's not being a down so far. So I think it's actually not too bad, Eli. This is still not too bad. I think it's still quite savable. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. It's still fine. I mean, it's probably a tied position at this point because the first down did take a while to get down. But
Mm-hmm.
they were able to get some cipher progress as well. But then you're also closer to full presence because the breaking wheel got a lot of injuries in the process. So it's still pretty good for the breaking wheel. But the merchant did force out the blink at least. It was just some missteps from the toy merchant there. Unfortunately, cost them a faster down than they would have liked. But yeah, I mean the blink was out of the way. Breaking wheel does get extra presence in the process though, so it definitely could go either way here.
Yes. Yeah,
Unfortunately, we
actually,
did have one of the players. Their game did crash, so we'll get that checked out in a second. But
Actually, I'm so happy to see Annie utilizing the glide. And one thing with the toy merchant is that you sometimes need to definitely time your catapult well because it has a cooldown. It has a 20-second cooldown for the glide, and it has like a 15-second cooldown, 10 or 15-second cooldown for the catapult. So sometimes even if you want to loop with your catapult, you need to buy some time. So I thought she was maybe buying some time, but I remember she didn't use the catapult. So definitely it was something like she misclick or something like that. But definitely with a toy merchant, you definitely need to time out your catapults and your airplane wings, because if you miss up that timing, then you cannot buy enough time, and then you just let the hunter come to you while you're just waiting for it. So that's one of the things about this character, is that it's very time compromising. You need to be all in. And now we're back in the game, and breaking wheel is going in with the spikes after the mercenary. However, though, the toy merchant is still not yet reached halfway. So now the mercenary is going to try to get this chair before half.
yeah, it looks like he's gonna go ahead and get a wheel from. Can he drop the? Oh, drops the trap. Can he force the rescue after half? Goes for the swing, and no, the merchant able to get saved before half, but he did get a double hit onto the mercenary, which is very strong there. Mercenary is going to absorb the trap as well. So toy merchant's going to just go ahead, try to make as much distance as possible. Going to go ahead and throw this pallet down. The goal here for the merchant, force the breaking wheel back into wheel form. She is able to do that here, so an excellent job from her, but she does not, unfortunately, so I have any more of the catapults to work with, and the flywheel's on cooldown. So oh, could she potentially make it to this window? Able to avoid this wheel form as much as possible. Is going to take that spike there. No flywheel available, and will go down. Does miss a hit, but we'll go down to the snap here. And is going to be placed on the rocket chair for the second time. Dying near the mercenary as well. So that means that, the breaking wheel knows where the merc is. And that's going to be pretty difficult. Will he chill the mercenary or leave him slugged? We'll have to see.
Yes, now it's going to be a second time for the toy merchant, and then probably priestess will be the most perfect survivor to come with those portals coming in, shortening the distance, and trying to get as much fast as possible. Oh no, she got spiked so early in, and we'll see the mercenary already stand up. He's highlighted though, and then acrobat coming in for the rescue for the merchant as well. There is no blink on the line, so he will just have a normal hit. But once again, it is a full presence breaking wheel, very difficult to kite, Eli, and definitely very scary. There is still two ciphers remaining, and Breaking Wheel we just use the skill at this point and try to down the toy merchant.
Yeah, trying to use this trap here to just slow them down. Oh, misses that trap there. Can Merchant mind give it the pallet? Vaults. Oh, just barely missing that hit here. Toy Merchant staying alive as long as possible. But now keep in mind here, so Blink is back online. Breaking Will is going to use that Blink. Secure the down on the Merchant. They had a portal set up, but it does not matter, unfortunately. And it looks like, yeah, Merchant will be sent back to the manor here. But the survivors should have pretty good cipher progress. I think they have one cipher machine that's being started here, and they should have another one that is almost completed at this point.
Yes, they bought so much time, and the mercenary going for the rescue and then getting it before half was crucial at this moment, because then if she flies immediately, there's no way they can buy extra time for those ciphers to be popped. However, though, it is the princess though on the last cipher. She has a decoding debuff, so definitely going to take a little bit to decode the cipher. And now Breaking Wheel is looking for his next target. Here, following the footsteps and finding the priestess portal, or sorry, the acrobat. Yeah, going after the acrobat. This is going to be the first time the acrobat will take the kite, and against the full presence breaking wheel. Very scary stuff going on in here.
Yeah, this is kind of a interesting situation. The problem is only Priestess here is decoding. Mercenary's not decoding. He wants to do that bad corner cipher machine because that one has a lot of progress on. He's going to go ahead and snap the acrobat just for some extra damage. Going to go back to Mercenary. The question is, how far is that cipher machine for the Mercenary? Only 30-40%. That's not going to be enough here. So this forces them to start a new cipher machine. Mercenary will go down. Is going to go ahead. Oh, uses an elbow pad there. Unfortunately, that's not going to be a very good elbow pad. Oh, no, but the snap's on cooldown. The snap is on cooldown because he did use it on that acrobat. So that elbow pad actually does end up working out very nicely here. And he's going to be able to make some more distance. Tries to go for that long distance trap. Able to avoid that there. And he's going to try to go for a snap here. Will Mercenary save the elbow pad for endgame? Or will they use this elbow pad to try to avoid the snap? And it looks like they're just going to go ahead and eat that hit there. Saving that elbow pad for a potential dungeon kiting.
Yes, now going in for that spikes once again, going for this cipher that is barely 60%. And now definitely this breaking wheel trying to control all the ciphers. And then Mercenary will be going down. And then I believe he already used his self-heal. So now it's all up to the priestess for going there and heal him up. But she cannot because she's still decoding the last cipher. And Acrobat will take this hit right at the tram area.
Yeah, that's a huge trap there from the breaking wheel. Now he's able to get the down. No one can actually come for the rescue. The question is, does the priestess just pop the cipher machine, or will they wait for the mercenary to heal up here? Looks like they're gonna go to the last cipher. I think priestess just needs to pop. Mercenary can easily just get up and make that rescue. Mercenary's gonna self heal right now. Priestess has to pop the cipher machine right now. There's no reason to keep waiting like this. Mercenary's gonna be able to make the save no matter what. She waits a little bit longer and takes the spike because of it, and she didn't flywheel the full presence either, Soy. So, unfortunately, a big misstep from the priestess may potentially cost a 3 survivor escape here. Oh, an early flywheel as well. There's the blink. Does he get onto the priestess? He needs the body block, and no, it does not get down. It does not connect with the acrobat. It is going to be on the priestess. The breaking wheel is going to try to force them out the exit gate. Maybe try to pressure down the mercenary, but that exit gate should be open in time here. And acrobat should be able to potentially make it out with a flywheel.
Yes, just like you said, he has no detention also, so that could be also quite good for the survivors. If the priestess is not chair, she could self-heal and go for the dungeon, but Breaking Wheel knows that, and he'll be taking this priestess back to a chair, while the acrobat and mercenary will be escaping smoothly. I don't think there is a idea for the mercenary for going for this rescue. I think they should just go for the gate, and that's what they're doing actually. So it will be another tie, guys. Another time for this team. Oh, yes, definitely. Oh my gosh, that was so clutch.
Yeah, it is going to be a tie here for this round. So now we are going to be going to round 3, and it looks like RYU still holding the lead by 2 points, but it's anyone's game here, just kind of back and forth for
Back and
sure.
forth.
So
Just
Yeah,
like a
back and
tug
forth with Ford.
war.
Yeah,
Just like a
absolutely.
tug
So
war, everyone pulling sides, seeing which one can give in first. Because this type of tournaments, Eli, you don't know, like it's type of like not only because everyone here knows the game, everyone plays it so nicely, everyone is OP, okay. But the thing is that who can endure the longest? This is
yep.
actually what is it about. Who has the strongest mindset to last longer, either as survivor, as hunter, as a team, as a whole, is a mind game overall. So that is the exciting part because we know everyone knows everything, but we need to give all kudos to these survivors and hunters being playing so well, giving us so much nice eye candy to see the flywheel from the priestess Ila. That was actually quite clutch. If there was no blink there, she could have just escaped, use a portal, and then move away. But blink on the line definitely pay off for the breaking wheel end game, even though he didn't bring detention. So as you see in this case, I think breaking wheel not bringing the tension actually worked towards his side.
Yeah, you know what? What should have? The thing is, the survivors could have potentially won. What Priestess needed to do is it would have been better if she popped the Cypher Machine when the Breaking Wheel went to her. I don't really understand the idea of waiting. I guess what she was waiting for was that what she was trying to do
Mhm.
is she was trying to give the survivors enough time to get to the exit gate so someone could open the gate immediately when she popped. So I think that was kind of the idea. But ultimately, she wasn't able to fly with the full presence, so then she went down immediately to a regular hit. So it was just kind of it didn't really work out how necessarily how they had planned. I think if she just pops the Cypher Machine, they push for the gate there. I guess she was waiting for the wheel to get out of wheel form, which it makes sense. That's fine. But again, the problem is if you're popping the Cypher Machine while they're getting out of wheel form, then you may not have enough time to fly wheel. In that case, she wasn't able to fly wheel the full presence and did go down to one hit. So that was kind of the downside there. But yeah, I mean, looking into that match, it wasn't too bad overall.
Mhm.
There's some I know some of you guys are asking why the little girl band. Little girl is actually a very strong character even after the nerf. She's still one of the best competitive characters in tournament gameplay. If you ever watched over the China Japan regions, little girl is used a lot there. Very good against Stream Witch, very good against Breaking Wheel because what happens is if you get like for example, you get two spikes on you, you can just combine with somebody like a mercenary, and then you can easily just escape and you won't go down. Mercenary still has full health. He doesn't have any spikes on him, and then they can kite for free. So Little Girl banned for Breaking Wheel makes a lot of sense. Little Girl's still a very strong character, but ultimately we saw the Toy Merchant, which is a character we've started to see what we've started to see a little bit more, especially to counter these Breaking Wheels, and so far it's been pretty effective.
Yes, a little girl is very scary if you pair her up with survivors like Ila mentioned before. Actually, he was mentioned about Greykeeper and Wilding because these survivors are able to take one more hit and the little girl will be undamaged. So I think that's one thing to look for because other normal survivors once they receive the hit, little girl could actually potentially give presence to the hunter, and that's what you don't want to do. So I think it is a good pair, like you said, with Greykeeper, Wilding, and why not Mercenary? So that's why I think that's the main reason she was banned. And also because a lot of these teams, they also do the homework on the other side of the team, and they probably know, they have seen probably or heard that one of the survivors has a very strong little girl on their side, and they definitely don't want to deal with that. Imagine like we see right now mercenary little girl or Greekkeeper little girl, it will be so scary to see. And yeah, they know that, of course, and they will definitely ban a strong little girl on this type of situation because they definitely need to strive for more than like these ties that we see in Eli. It is definitely quite clutch. You see everyone is playing so hard, so much at stake. One of these things will be eliminated of IVC. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration. They're playing very seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just again going into this third round, RYU still in the lead here by 2 points. So LUV, they got to try to come back. Still down 2 points here. Just losing that round one was really really crucial, especially on the map that they got to choose. So it's gonna be tough here. With Soul Weaver we're probably gonna see Soul Weaver and Breaking Wheel banned for the LUV's Hunter. So what Hunter do you
Mhm.
think that LUV Hunter could potentially play here if they don't have Soul Weaver or Breaking Wheel available?
I have seen today an wax artist. So I think
Ah,
like strongly believe wax artist could be the next big of Kwon because knowing a little bit of Kwon play style, I've seen him playing wax artist before. So I think Mr. Wax Artist could come into play and bring us a lot of wax hits. You know, there's hot wax, there's cold wax. There is even when you get the white wax, then you don't get the damage. But no, but then when you get the hot wax, you will get the damage. And then there's a lot of synergy going in with the waxes, and I think it's a hunter that is very fun to play with, but really hard to master. So watch out, all of you guys, wax artist mains. Look forward to see maybe soon there is going to be a wax artist gameplay coming in. I think that'll be quite interesting. What do you think, Eli? Wax artist?
Yeah, Wax Artist is that would be very exciting. Wax Artist is a good character. You know, did receive a very nice buff recently. I think he got nerfed like a little bit after because there's a lot of people that were kind of upset with how strong he was. Because Wax Artist, you know, let's be honest, Wax Artist used to be really bad. He used to be one of the worst hunters in the game. You know, and then he got a buff where the wax will accumulate faster on a survivor. Also, if someone like a forward goes for a stun or if someone gets a pallet stun, they instantly gain 50 wax on them. And then you can also shoot the wax bomb a lot farther, and it's easier to aim as well. Um, sort of like a basketball shot. It's like, but so basically, Wax Artist has become a lot stronger of a character. So maybe that will be an option. And he also, once he reaches that full presence, so he's so strong. As you mentioned, the hot wax is very hard to
Yes.
avoid. If a wax artist has you in close range, they can easily just spray you with the hot wax. You take a hit, and then you just hit them right after, and you can stuff any rescuer. So full presence wax artist is also very, very hard to deal with.
Funny enough, actually, I tried going against wax artist as toy merchant, and it actually did work quite well, I have to say, because I use my airplane to fly away from the wax, and because I know where the wax is coming, I'll just go around it and try to buy as much distance as possible, forcing the wax artist to relocate and then buy so much time because you know with those airplane wings you can just fly so far away. And I think one of the good counters for wax artists in my opinion could be toy merchant. So really looking forward to see whether if they choose toy merchant again, if they have to counter at wax artist, because I'm very excited. I'm seeing a lot of toy merchant gameplay. Once I mentioned I want to see, I feel quite lucky to be honest that I see one of my favorite survivors being utilized as well. Same as you were rooting for Eli, and you got some Eli as well. So yeah, quite good stuff here going on. Looking for more of a toy merchant gameplays as well as wax artists. Besides, what else do you think it could be a nice hunter to see now that you know that he can main? He can basically main any hunter. Like he's just a Kwong is known as being a hunter main, so he has so many hunters under his sleeve. He also has a sculpture, Bloody Queen. He has all the meta, plus the new ones, which is Wax Artist. I'm not quite sure whether he played Clerk before, but I wouldn't be surprised whether he would choose Clerk. But do you think at this point on the match, it'll be a good idea to bring out a Clerk?
Um, Maybe it depends on the situation. Like again, Clerk's again one of those characters. Like if a team's not expecting it, then you can kind of just surprise them with it. So
Yes.
maybe if RYU isn't expecting a Clerk and they play a team comp that's not very strong against Clerk, then you could easily just play Clerk and try to surprise them that way. That's
Mhm.
definitely a possibility. But I don't know. Yeah, so Clerk is just kind of one of those characters that's good for surprising teams. So maybe that'll be an option. It's just that I know a lot of hunters when Clerk came out, they didn't really want to waste time mastering Clerk because again, ultimately she's not that strong. It's just that you can catch teams off guard and it can be good. And she can be good. So, and she's also very difficult to play. She's extremely challenging to play. So, a lot of the time, a lot of hunters they'll spend time mastering other meta hunters and just kind of like avoid Clerk because it takes a long time to master and she ends up not being as good as some of the other meta hunters in the long run. But maybe the hunter for LUV has a Clerk available, and it's something that RYU might not expect. So we'll have to see.
Yes, another hunter that is on the line could be Nayat. In Southeast Asia, we
Mm,
love using Nayat quite a bit, and I also seen some Nayat in your NAU tournament. I think one of your hunters, I think, brought a Nayat as well. So that
yep.
could be really good, especially I think in Chinatown is one of the best maps for Nayat. I've seen Wolf Alex also use Nayat in that map, as well as in Lakeside. So I think Nayat could be also a good hunter, of course, depending on the map as well, because you know hunter and map are always hand in hand, they have to match well. So I think, yeah, if they have Chinatown again, I think maybe Nayat could be good as well. So it really depends on the map. And then, yeah, Nayat gameplay. Let's go. Very, very, very strong hunter.
Yeah, it is. It is a strong hunter as well. Also very good at Moonlit River Park too. So, that's definitely an option. The problem with playing Moonlit River Park though is that
Mm-hmm.
if you do that, then you kind of give, you're kind of forced to ban Geisha, because Geisha is very good on Moonlit River Park as well. Like for example, if LUV wants to go Moonlit River Park, right? Say they have map option, they want to go Moonlit, which is very strong for Naiad. Then it's like, okay, well, we picked this map that's good for Naiad, but then you're also allowing Sneaky to have a good map for Geisha. So then you're forced to ban Dreamwitch anyways, but then you're forced to ban Geisha as well, and then that gives Sneaky like a round 3 Sculptor, which is really not that good for the Survivor side. So I don't know. Maybe that's an option. Then also you mentioned Lakeside would work. Chinatown cannot be picked by LUV since they've already picked it. However, RYU could pick it if they wanted to. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see if Naiad's even something that they're considering. But I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
interested to see
because
what. Yeah, I was gonna say I was interested to see what Sneaky is opting to play because we expected her to play Sculptor, right, or Bloody Queen, but she
yes.
actually ended up playing Geisha. So we'll see if she actually continues with playing Geisha, or maybe we'll go into some of her older characters like Sculptor or Bloody Queen.
Exactly. I believe that the geisha that we saw right now is probably not the full geisha that we've seen because is there's a geisha main. As a geisha main, that like they take their character very seriously, and they always feel very confident. Like the other day in IVL, I saw Dong Xuan taking geisha as the first pick, and I thought it was so bold and so unexpected, and he got an all kill. And that was so shocking, to be honest, and that just shows you. And he actually tried before to play geisha, and it didn't work. It was dice. But I think it really depends, like you said, if you get the survivor thing a bit surprised and to pick something that you're totally not expecting, then they definitely can trap them in a moment that they are not prepared. So this is why the ban phase is so important, because through the ban phase you can see what the other team has in their mind, what are they expecting, what are they afraid of, or what are they planning. So even there's one time that Alex from Wolf's team was interviewed, no interview, they revealed his ban face voice chat with his coach, and they uploaded it, like the full ban face dialogue on they uploaded it. And then all the fans were like so mad about it, because they're like, oh my god, you're revealing Wolf's Alex's strategy, like the way he thinks and the way he plans things ahead, and that is like not good for Wolves overall. So they had to immediately remove it completely. And I think that that is the situation that a lot of people don't realize. Actually, ban phase, it is so crucial, Ila. And I think you know that definitely because you're a coach of a team, so you definitely know that ban phase is crucial. But what are your experience? Do you also think ban phase is that crucial in your opinion?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of the most important parts of the match. Obviously getting the right team comp as a survivor side, being prepared for every hunter, or if you're on the other end, you're coaching one of your hunters to ban to go against the survivor team. You got to help them, understand. If you allow a team to have this character, how does it impact the matchup? If you're trying to play like a breaking wall, for example, if you're going to give them these survivors, how to you kind of have to understand how every you kind of have to understand, like, banning this character important because you don't want to have to deal with it, or should I ban
Mhm.
this one, and then if I ban this character, what will they pick in return, right? And then what
Mhm.
will you kind of have to predict everything. It's really about predicting
Wow.
like what every team will come up with. So for example, let's take we'll run through a quick scenario. Um so say I'm coaching Dreamer from Fusion, right? He wants to play round one Dreamwitch on Arms Factory, right? So he's
Mhm.
gonna ban. So I'm gonna tell him to ban Seer, obviously, because Seer is very good for Dreamwitch. And then you have to predict what are they gonna lock in if he bans Seer. They're probably gonna take forward, or probably forward and mercenary. Those are probably the two most common bans. Or they might go forward and psychologist. That is the other option. So those are the two most common options. So then we got to predict, both scenarios, right? If they go mercenary and
Mhm.
forward, what do we ban next? Okay, we're going to ban psychologist or next, and then if we ban psychologist, what are they going to take next? Maybe acrobat, and then you have to plan out every situation in your head, and you have to ultimately decide for yourself which is going to be the best one. and then sometimes he gets thrown off because the team picks some other character you don't expect, and then you have to reevaluate everything, right? So there's a lot of thought process behind it. But anyways, we're gonna get into our match here, and it looks like we are gonna have Sneaky on the Hunter side against the LUV survivors.
Oh, I kind of miss seeing the names of the prisoners. That was so funny. You know, before the first time I saw the prisoners, this layout in the IVJ, which is the Japan's
Mm,
one, I thought they had to pay to be there. Like I thought they had to pay or something to be there, and I was like, oh my god, why how the names are there? It was so funny. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to see whether they can put that action out so we can see the names. But yeah, let's get right into the ban phase. Now they're gonna ban two hunters, and most likely from Sneaky, like you said, definitely Dream Witch ban. Yeah, Breaking Wheel too. And wow, three survivors immediately banned. Eli, Four, and Priestess. Everyone. Wow, these survivors so strong, so OP. Actually, Eli, now you should be relieved because now this shows how Eli is actually still relevant enough to be banned first. So
yeah.
yeah, Eli still got it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Seer is a very, very strong character. And we are going to see, looks like they are going to ban Sculptor, so they just don't want to have to deal with Sneaky Sculptor at all. And it looks like Dream Witch as well. We actually, we don't know the map, unfortunately. I don't think so.
Oh,
Um, we'll have to see what it is in a second. But it looks like with these bans for Sneaky, this could be a few things. You know, Seer ban works for both Geisha and Bloody Queen Forward as well, and so does Priestess. I would imagine it's not Arms Factory. I can tell you that much. If Priestess is being banned, it's not going to be Arms Factory, but it could be anything else. But with these bans, yeah, it's definitely indicating we're going to see Little Girl actually locked in here as well. So again, it really goes to show guys how strong of a character Little Girl is and how well Little Girl works with that mercenary.
yeah, I'm so happy here. Finally, Eli, what we're talking about since the beginning of the night. Little girl and mercenary combo. So exciting. Actually, the first time I saw this combo was in IVL, and I saw the newcomer team Reborn go against a hunter. I think it was Breaking Wheel, and they managed to get a 4-man. So this is a lot of interesting things coming in, guys. Little girl mercenary and closely follow up by the patient and the magician. This is so surprising, Eli. So many surprises for today. And if I see correctly, Sneaky's Geisha coming in.
Yep.
Wow, we're in for a treat. A second match of Geisha coming in with Sneaky's Geisha.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Joggy's gonna like the magician pick there for sure. But it looks like we're gonna see, yeah, Geisha. Yeah, Geisha makes sense. This comp is really anti Bloody Queen, so you really can't play Bloody Queen against this. Patient is a very good kiter against Bloody Queen. Magician can illusion the mirror images, so that makes Magician strong against Bloody Queen. Little Girl very good against Bloody Queen if there's a mercenary, because if Little Girl takes a hit, she combines with mercenary, and Bloody Queen really has no way of injuring a mercenary besides blink. Because if they mirror, you can just use an elbow pad to avoid the mirror. And then also, Geisha is stronger against that sort of strategy because Geisha is very good against Patient, and also Geisha is better at hitting a mercenary than a Bloody Queen does, because if Geisha lands a nice dash, she can get the hit on the mercenary, force the Little Girl to detach, and then maybe go for the Little Girl after that, right? And then, with Bloody Queen, you can't really do that because the mirror images are harder to hit onto a mercenary, and of course Patient counters as well. So Geisha just way stronger against this team comp than Bloody Queen, so that's why
Yeah.
assuming why Sneaky opted to go Geisha here.
Yes, Sneaky being a Bloody Queen main, Sculpture main, Dream Witch main. Wow, is coming in for the Geisha. This is going to be so exciting, Eli. And especially because this team comp, like you said, is very difficult against Bloody Queen. But is it going to work against the Geisha, Eli? Do you think this is the right lineup to counter a Geisha? What are your thoughts on that?
Um, it's difficult. I think in this situation, if they were really worried about Bloody Queen and Geisha, I think a Perfumer would have been stronger than a Magician here. Perfumer counters, Perfumer very strong against both Geisha and Bloody Queen. But Magician also works effective too. A good Magician can be a very good kiter against a Bloody Queen. Looks like Sneaky's gonna go ahead and rotate towards Minibo. Two survivors actually rotating into this area, so Sneaky will have two potential chase targets here. Let's see which one she opts to go for. And it looks like that is the little girl already gets hit. Oh, cancels attack recovery. This could be an instant down for Sneaky. Goes for the combine onto the mercenary. Gets a follow up hit right on to the mercenary as well. Two immediate hits for Sneaky. Goes for the dash around the pallet as well, and that's gonna be able to flywheel that. That would have been three immediate hits there for Sneaky, but already two hits right away here. Mercenary, the main rescuer, is injured, so just like that. So this is a really good position for this geisha.
Wow, so fast, Sneaky. Sneaky is so sneakily fast. And then going in with the pages, but no, we just switch back and do a 360 hit on the little girl, putting her down just in the 1 minute of the match. And just like that, two survivors injured, one is on chair, and now it is all now on Sneaky's side. The match is definitely going in for Sneaky taking the higher ground at this moment.
Yeah, and look at that cipher progress. They only have one cipher with significant process and the reason significant progress because they had to stop to kill the mercenary, and because of that, you only have one cipher machine being decoded at that time. So now Sticky has a lot of time to work with. They're gonna be able to pop one cipher machine, but that's it. They have another one at 50, and a third one hasn't even been started yet by that mercenary because he was injured. So it looks like Sneaky's gonna go ahead and drop down here. No attack recovery, of course, because of the drop down effect, but. We'll see. Does anyone even come for a rescue at all? The answer is probably no. Sneaky still has trait available. We might see Mercenary come in for an after half rescue. I would expect him to do that. But after that, yeah, not many options here. Does Sneaky see the Mercenary? Okay, she does see Mercenary, and she'll probably just go for Little Girl. Unfortunately for Sneaky, does miss out on the injury on the Mercenary, so that's kind of a bit of a disadvantage for her, but still is a very good position. Little Girl's going to go down here. The goal for the Little Girl, excellent job just taking the hit, dying as far away as possible here, and preventing the Mercenary from taking any extra hits.
The thing here, Eli, still there's blink on the line. So the next one, after getting almost all presents, not yet, but almost all presents, then the next one will be definitely a down, and then the blink too. So I think very is all on Sneaky's cars. Yeah, like everything is on Sneaky's side at this moment. So it will be very interesting to see how the survivors counter this almost full presence geisha in such a big map with all the ciphers spread out. And we see Sneaky. I think she saw the mercenary, but she doesn't want to really go after the mercenary. She wants to find something more juicy, maybe a patient or a magician.
Yeah, it looks like does find the magician here. Is going for the illusion, goes for the blink through the pallet and didn't get it, but the magician's illusion actually is going to block him off from using the pallet there, Soy, but I think he does have flywheel, so he might actually use it right here. Goes for the swing, doesn't get the magician here, and his illusion is back online, so he can use it. Oh, he actually uses... Oh, he uses flywheel too late. Still gets the hit. Delayed flywheel there, and also, yeah, interesting choice. He could have actually just used an illusion and saved the flywheel, but unfortunately, Magician making a slight misstep there, and that's going to allow Sneaky to get a free hit.
Yes, now it's going to be a full geisha now. Super fast, very unavoidable, and we'll do another 360 hit with this geisha hitbox that you also sometimes need to just move your camera all the way while hitting. Very difficult for a mobile player, but not for Sneaky. Sneaky is getting all those hits right on point and also are able to harass the patient Cypher machine that is almost prime. So definitely Sneaky coming chose violence today with this geisha and forcing the patient to take the butterfly, and oh, amazing flywheel, but no, patient we just go for a normal hit and getting the magician out of the chair very before half.
Yeah, interesting choice to use flywheel there, because he's just going to take the hit anyway to get the rescue, so you might as well just save the flywheel. But yeah, it looks like Magician's going to go ahead and use an illusion, mind gaming Sneaky here, and is able to make it to the window. So a nice illusion there from the Magician to go for that mind game, but has himself caught in the open. And imagine, so if he still had that flywheel, that could have potentially be utilized here, and does not have it, of course, because he did, use it at an inopportune time. He was in a situation where he could have used an illusion, but instead used the flywheel, and now will go down because of it. They have the last Cypher machine already started, and another one at 94 here, so it looks like Mercenary will come in for that next rescue.
Yeah, Sneaky is just waiting patiently here. Mercenary only one elbow pad in hand, pressing it, still not yet sure whether he utilized it or not, maybe save it for endgame or not. Taking the butterfly, skill checking the geisha, using this pallet to mind game a little bit, maybe trying to go for that pallet stun, and he got the pallet stun, utilizing that vaulting speed to get to the magician chair, going for the rescue, taking the butterfly, doing some little body block here, trying to cover up for the magician because this will be crucial, and magician will be hit. Amazing hit from Sneaky right here on the right target.
Absolutely. And now Sneaky, what's gonna happen here is that Sneaky doesn't have teleport yet, so she's gonna go for the mercenary. Mercenary's gonna use an elbow pad to get away here, just trying not to take the hit. It might have been better if Mercenary saved an elbow pad for endgame, but he's going to go ahead and go for this window. Does he go for the vault? No, you cannot go for that vault. Do not risk, of course, that terror shot. Going to keep looking around to see if Cypher Machines are moving. As soon as Siki sees that last Cypher Machine moving, she's going to teleport to it. Mercenary needs to try to contain this as long as possible for Patient to prime. The Cypher goes for the hit, gets the hit through the pallet. Mercenary should be able to get the pallet stun, though, and they should be able to pop. Oh, no pallet stun! Gets it down on Mercenary, but the Cypher Machine is primed. They are able to pop it, but still a chance for Sneaky to win here. If she's able to down the Mercenary quick enough, teleport to the Patient's exit gate, she can potentially go for a win here. Goes for that dash there. Mercenary getting stuck, unfortunately, on the box and will go down there.
Wow, that was so close. I really thought it would be a pallet stun, but no, Sneaky was very sneaky, staying close, but not right at the pallet, mind gaming the mercenary, waiting there for the pallet stun that didn't happen, and now it's going to be up for the teleport time. And now the patient knows that he's transitioning away from the gate because the dungeon is actually also on the beach shore side. So now he just have to hide as much as he can, but Sneaky knows all the hiding spots, and it's not a hide and seek game anymore because he immediately got found going to skill check, but once again it's a full presence geisha going to utilize those hooks, maybe. Ooh, very close now, putting the bullet down, still skill checking, and now wow, using the hook right in the moment, but ooh, flywheel also coming, but Sneaky will take the last hit and it will be an all kill.
Yeah, absolutely. That is going to be it actually for RYU. Sneaky gets all four survivors eliminated, which she was able to do. It's actually impossible for LUV to come back, even if they had a four survivor elimination in their favor. RYU would still be leading on points. So excellent job from Sneaky. A four-person elimination with Geisha, with Blink Geisha too, which is more of a tie strategy. Just it really goes to show the power of Geisha. Geisha, of course, very consistent tie hunter, but also has a lot of win potential. In this case, Sneaky used that perfectly, used that to her advantage, was able to get all four survivors eliminated and secure the win here
Very.
for RYU. They will be advancing.
Yes, exactly. So scary, sneaky. You saw like the way that she utilized those butterflies so confidently, even though the survivors will skill check her at all times. Also, kudos for the LUV survivors. You guys did an amazing kind. I learned so many tricks from you guys, so many nice things you did, so many nice hand maneuver right there. But this geisha was like super, super violent today. Very scary things coming in. And even though the survivors get the butterfly and manage to skill check, they still cannot stop the geisha because she's just too fast.
Yeah. Yeah, she really is. Once you get that full presence, as you mentioned, it's just very strong. It's very hard to deal with. So that was it's just an excellent job there from Steve. The early game was really a big game changer as well, as you saw two really, really fast hits. That's why as a little girl player, you have to be careful that you don't
Mhm.
accidentally cancel attack recovery, because sometimes that does happen. And that's why Geisha can actually be good against little girl, because she can dash right up to the little girl. So even if she uses the page, she can get the hit
Mhm.
before she's able to use the page to cancel attack recovery, and she can get a second hit right after. She wasn't able to get the second hit right after, but she did get a hit on the mercenary, which also is fine because it slowed down the cipher progress, forced the survivors to go for heals, and it just wasted even more time. Or it wasted even more of the survivors' time. That way, Sneaky had more time to work with and be able to push for a win.
Yes, I was so clutch, especially because the spawn moment that Geisha knew were the two cipher area. I call the area like two cipher because there's always two ciphers there, so I call it two
Mhm.
ciphers. And then she immediately went there, throwing the butterfly, and she was so confident that she will find a survivor there. She did. She hit the mercenary and then hit the little girl, and then from that on, I think all the tempo that the survivors had in mind kind of like scrambled a little bit because they definitely, you coming in, you don't really expect that this will happen right so early in game. And we saw it was just a 1 minute time. And I think that might have messed up a little bit their strategy from the beginning of the match. So that's the power of a very, very confident hunter. In this case, the geisha, and in such a big map of like such as Lakeside or Moonlit River, using these mad dashes towards the survivors, the ciphers, I think can be really, really powerful. So yeah, I gotta go back practice my geisha again because I have a lot of hope now that I can master a geisha. It's just like sneaky. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually interesting that we see Geisha, be this successful with Flywheel being, included in this tournament, because
Mm.
Flywheel is a really hard counter to Geisha. If you go for a dash, on a on a survivor, they can instantly just flywheel and avoid getting hit, and they can kite out one of the dashes for free with a flywheel. So it's very interesting to see that Geisha is doing this well with flywheel. I think a lot of people expected Geisha to not be as strong with the inclusion of flywheel, but Sneaky saying, you know what, I still have this Geisha available. I'm still going to use it. I'm still going to be able to get 4 survivors eliminated with it, even with flywheel. It's still just such a formidable character to have to deal with as a survivor side.
Yes, especially if you rely solely on flywheel, then sometimes when you put all your thoughts on just using flywheel to escape, then sometimes you don't save it for that most crucial moment. Like we saw when the survivor just was rescued from the chair, he could have a perfect chance to avoid a normal geisha hit with a flywheel, but he wasn't able to because flywheel takes a little bit long time for recovery. So that's exactly what happened. When you put all your eggs in one basket, sometimes it just doesn't work like that. So very, very scary stuff coming in from Geisha. And then we see the stats a little bit. We see the main decoder was patient Emil Coder. Let's go. 321% decoding time. Wow, that's so much decoding right there. The most impressive thing right here is that they actually did manage to open the gates, even though the match was so one-sided from the beginning of the match. So this is also shows a little bit how the Cypher Rush is very strong, Eli. Still now in such a big map. To be honest, I really didn't expect for the decoding progress to advance this fast because we said that it is such a big map and no one is a main decoder here. The only one who can decode a little bit faster is the magician. So yeah, that was the only thing. Yeah, coming in.
Yeah, it really just goes to show how Geisha is still kind of a tie hunter, but just has that win potential. And Sneaky utilizing that win potential. Of course, Sneaky will be the MVP for this matchup. Just excellent games overall, getting a win in the first round, a win in the third round, and also securing a tie in that second round. So just very, very strong overall. And yeah, with the Geisha, not a hunter we expected to see from her. We think about hunters
Ooh.
that she can play. We talk about Dream Witch, we talk about Sculptor, maybe Bloody Queen, but Geisha here, I think, kind of surprised all of us here, and it really worked out in
Yes.
her favor.
Yes, it was a card under her sleeve. So congratulations, RYU. And you won this one. And then really MVP for Sneaky. Wow, a lot of respect for you and all the hunters that you have under your sleeve. Especially Geisha bringing in it in such an important moment that she definitely needs to get more points. And yeah, it was so nice to watch the gameplay. And yeah, guys, watch out for Geisha, a very strong hunter, especially like you said, when the map is convenient, when the survivors also choose some lineup that you think can work against Geisha, just go for it because you might be surprised. This was a mercenary, a team with a mercenary, and you say Ila, mercenary is one of the survivors that can take a lot, is one of the strongest one, but still getting a hit so early on and feeding the hunter presence so early on the match definitely took a toll towards the end of the game. Like we saw, there was not enough resources for the survivors to utilize, and I think that was the ultimate thing because I think Emil, yeah, he was trying to go for dungeon at one point, but he also got found out. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was one of the things too that yeah. But anyway, yes, congratulations to RYU once again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what happened at the end there actually was interesting. I think Patient was hiding from the geisha, but I think the patient thought that the geisha saw him, and I actually don't think she did. But then the patient kind of ran out into the open, and then they did see them. So he was able to get the down on the patient there, and it was kind of an interesting position. So say hypothetically the survivors did get one out, then the hunter for LUV would need to eliminate all 4 survivors, and if they did, the LUV would actually win. But if they don't eliminate all 4 survivors, then RYU would win. So just kind of an interesting matchup, but Sneaky just kind of completely just closing that option up, getting that 4 survivor elimination, finding that patient hiding out, and was able to do a great job there. We are just waiting for our ending stats here, so we will see that in a moment here. But yeah, again, congratulations to RYU. They will be advancing. So just excellent job as well. Also to Noir, we saw them play earlier as well, and we'll very excited to see how these teams will continue to play as this tournament progresses. It's going to get even more and more intense and more competitive from here on out.
Exactly. I'm gonna give some shout outs for the people on the chat. Thank you so much for coming in and discussing about so many things about the survivors, about the hunters, about a lot of things. So shout out to the real James, Sultan Me, Mutsuki Diamonds, Sean Fernandez, Honey Melly, Payne, Howard of the Beast, Katia Solis, Tommy Yusha, John Michael, Blue Locker. Bien Lauda, Shushu, I Feel Dead, Carmela Flower, Hour of the Beast, Alia, Vani, Boonbok, Fukia May, Pain, AJ3, Carmela Flower, LB, Hollands, Lettuce, Blue Locker, Big Boss, and Lilica. Sorry if I miss you guys, but thank you so much for keeping the chat live and doing this little discussion. Is really good to discuss about other idea. They were talking about like yeah, Geisha is still meta, Eli, and you guys also show it in your NAU tournament with
Hmm.
your Hunter Musin, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
Very awesome geisha game right there. So yeah, the geisha meta also coming to Asia.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to see our final results from today. We do see ZT moving on with a victory there. We also see, GH also getting that victory there. A very close matchup there, but they were able to ultimately take the victory. We saw Noir with a very nice, convincing victory before that. A very nice 15 points that they accumulated on their side. So excellent job for them. And then also, we see Sneaky's team in RYU advancing over LUV here. So these are the final results for today. Yeah, just very impressive overall. Some close matchups, some ones where other teams had more of an advantage. Of course, we saw ZT having a very nice decisive victory, Noir having a very nice decisive victory, but then GH and RYU having a very close one, and we are going to see the bracket for this stage as well. We're gonna have ZT and GH playing next, and then we also will have Noir and RYU playing next. And of course, this is to see which teams will qualify to move on to the next big stage of the competition. So it's just just very very close, very exciting overall. There are so many teams. I believe there was, if I'm not mistaken, like 128 teams or something.
Yes.
Yeah, that originally applied here. So
Wow.
it's really just it's tough that all these teams, some of these teams got to go because all of them deserve to
Mm-hmm.
be at a very high level here. But it's just
Yes.
very exciting overall.
Yeah, the most difficult thing about this tournament is that everyone level is too high and everyone level is about the same. And the thing is that who can take the longest. So for the next match of tomorrow, we will have July 24th, guys. Don't forget to tune in. We're gonna see much more matches coming, definitely. And of course, I think you and me are still casting for the first four matches, if for the first two groups, if I remember correctly. So definitely we'll be looking forward to that. I'm not sure whether I will do another cosplay or not, but I might because I don't know because IVC is the first time me joining IVC. As I told you before, I'm so excited, and yeah, I just hope like yeah, you guys can definitely enjoy my cosplay, and yeah, I just like to show. This is one of the first cosplay I did. Actually, the first one I did was Tone, which is Tonight of Never. But of course, I didn't do it that well, and I was not confident about it. But then I learned a little bit more how to do a little bit better. You know what I mean? And then yeah, and luckily today I cannot wear the horns because if I wear them, they'll be a bit out of the screen like this. You see? So you see, is the horns are eaten by the screen. So they recommended me to just remove them. But yeah, maybe I'll just take a picture with them or something like that. Yeah, just for
There you go.
convenience. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, expect more soy cosplay in the future, guys. It's very exciting. But anyways, we will be signing off for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really enjoyed everyone's support, everyone who stuck with us and supported your favorite team. All the positivity in the chat is always welcomed. And again, thank you everyone for watching. We are signing off for now. I'm Elio, joined here with Soy Milk, and we will see you guys back here tomorrow.